And we'll sort of follow the same process we have for. I like to keep it simple, and so the order of the speakers will be the way they're listed in the program, and that way I'm not confused and you're not confused. So first up, we're going to follow the same. They're going to do some discussion about their operation, what they do, etc. And of course, this is the Seedstock promotion of that on there, and the value we create there. So Galen Fink, you're going to be up first. Doesn't need an introduction. Fink Feed Genetics has really some innovative kind of things he's created in his operation. Does a great job, and so Galen, turn to you.
All right.
He does, yeah. He does say good things about Kansas State.
Nothing good to say about Missouri. Sorry.
Remember, I get the mic.
You're off the mic. You're off the mic now, Rex. I'm going to have to run pretty quick. Appreciate Brett Spader. He's hiding outside now, but appreciate Brett asked me to be involved in this meeting today. And also great thanks to Robert Wells and the Noble Research Institute for hosting this. These folks did a fantastic job. The only thing I'd say is that I wish you guys were in Kansas, because it's a fantastic program and what they do. If you folks have an opportunity, you're not involved with them. I'm not getting paid to say that, but what an organization. So thanks, Robert, for all your crew and everybody putting this on.
We do go up there now.
What's that?
We do go up there now.
You don't charge for it.
We don't charge for it.
Oh, sounds good. How many Roberts are there in this deal?
Not enough.
No. So, anyways, a couple things, and I'm going to roll really fast because Mr. Spader gave us several different topics, and I tried to sort it out: commercial, and seed stock, and customer service. Number one, this is not a promotion for Feed Genetics. I don't like promotional talks. I was asked to come talk about what we do a little bit. There's a lot of tremendous breeders in this room as far as seed stock. That's what I'm talking about. Got one, maybe the best Brangus breeder in the United States here. So this is some things we do, some things we think, but it's not anything promotional. Number three, Bill Bowman took my deal this morning, but I'm going to ask again, all the commercial guys, would you please raise your hand, and ladies, raise your hand, commercial folks. Now, somebody's not being very truthful. There was more this morning. Anyway, so what I was going to have you do is tell you to look around the room, because we all work for you. Everybody that didn't raise their hand, we all work for you. So if you're not getting what you need from the seed stock industry or the feedlot industry or wherever, we're all the ones to blame. The commercial guy is the number one person in this whole deal. Talk.
The arrow.
There.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You got it. No, I don't. It's not working. You didn't tell me it turned on.
The arrows on the side.
Yeah, it's on
the side.
Side arrows.
Hey, you should have gone to Missouri.
There you go.
I'd like for you to know. Don't need any words here.
And I was going to make a comment about all the smart people in the room, but I'd had to let out Bill in the equation, Bill and Sally, but I'd had to let Bill off. And since you popped that off, Bill, I told a couple guys this morning, but I remember Bill Bowman when he was a steer jockey. Okay? You asked for it. So, no, they're great people. So, okay, this is what we do, what we've done real quick. I'm not going to dwell on it. You can rate it. There's some other things I'd rather talk about. So, we rented all of our land till 2006. I was really smart, didn't buy land until the 90s and in the early 2000s because I knew it was going to get cheaper. Okay, so you know how that's worked out. We finally bought land in 2006. We've tried to think outside the box and everything we've done. Large embryo program, build numbers without having the land base. That's what we started with, and that's what we did. Again, I'm just going to throw through it. It's not a self-promotional deal here. We have Charolais, Black Angus. This year we're going to have our first Red Angus Charolais. We sell 650, 700 bulls a year. Okay, the commercial guys. This is the segment that there is no question in my mind that anyone in this room, whether you have commercial cows or not, if you have commercial cows, that we're leaving money on the table, okay? 100 to 250 bucks a head without any extra cost, okay? Fertility is the number one important point. If a female in most parts of the country isn't bred by the time she's 15 months old, she needs her head cut off, okay? 3 pounds, that's where Charolais, and there's other continental breeds out there. I prefer Charolais because you get the free, and these are things that some folks have mentioned this morning. But again, if you're a commercial producer, these are things that you may not be doing that will put money in your pocket. Everybody complains about calf prices and everything, but then we go home and we let loose change fall out, okay? 3 pounds just by crossbreed. Crossbred cows, thank you, Tanya. Nobody had touched that this morning. But they have to be controlled. A crossbred cow, just be a crossbred cow, is not what I'm talking about. Crossbred cow with some known genetics, throw a terminal bull on her, whatever you want to do there, that's just profitable if you're not doing some things like that. Now there'll be a lot of people say, well, 1 or 2 breeds can do everything. I got a little beef with that. I got 2 breeds. I have a beef with that. Because I think if you deal with just strictly 1 breed, if you're not really careful, you're going to end up with fertility problems, you're going to end up with slow breeders, you're going to end up with a lot of other issues. The genetic bases keep narrowing to just a few genetic lines. Those lines will carry some problems if we're not careful. Maternal, terminal, that's where Noble, I've admired their deal for a long time. There's no question that the most dollars, and even the end dollars, can be made from keeping a cow that works, putting a terminal bull on her, and killing all the progeny. There's no question about that. The hybrid figure is the easy answer to that. It's an easy answer. It's free. Buy replacements. I think, Robert, your recommendations is smaller herds, find the right supplier, and buy your replacements. I did not say go to the sale barn and buy your replacements. I did not say that. Find the right supplier to work with, get the right genetics, and then you'll get these higher percentages of choice and primes, whatever you're after, with known genetics. Be willing to pay a little more for them. I appreciate your comment this morning about the $1,750 heifers. But if they are heifers that have the genetics at $1,800, so the genetic is the big part of that whole equation, what's in those heifers. And that determines the price. You can pay a couple $100 more for a bred heifer if she's the right genetics. It's going to get you the right carcass. It's not rocket science. You can do that. You factor in over a 10-year period of time, it's easy math, okay? Cow savings, that's just cow size. This is stuff that, you all know. But you know the difference between everybody has a 1,100 pound cow, right? Everybody in the world has a 1,100 pound cow. And we all know, you're right, Chris. We all know that probably most cows in the commercial herds today are weighing 1,500. I'm just throwing that out in average kind of condition. We can save a lot of money by controlling cow size. Okay? And then you throw a terminal bull on her. Again, not rocket scientist. You get the pounds, you have the low maintenance package, and you still get the end product. The 45-day calving, the worst thing we do in this industry is stretch our calving out very far. 45 days, well, we can't do that. Yes, you can. You can AI, you can synchronize an AI, turn the bulls out for another 40 days, and any cows that don't breed in that time frame, go ahead and leave the bull out, but then get somebody in there to preg check and sell those cows off. You can have a 45-day calving season. By AI, and have to go out with that cow twice. Now, I may be giving up a day or two there, but basically, and those cows will put more money in your pocket with those older calves. Okay? Real easy. Wean calves quicker. 7-month weaning, that's, geez, that come out of the 30s and 40s probably. We got calves now that are weighing more at 5 months, I mean the industry, at 5 and 6 months than they were at 8 months in the past. We've increased a lot of growth. There's nothing wrong with pulling them calves off quicker. Is there, Robert?
I don't know.
The cow will come back, you make money there. There's lots of ways to make money that we don't. And I say we, would be us too. There's a lot of places we can improve. Okay? Hay feeders, that's one of the most costly things in the world. If you put out brown bales in the hay feeder and the cow craps on 2/3 of it, sleeps on the other third, and she eats bait less than 1%, it's money down the tubes. Just investment in hay feeders. If you're going to feed hay feeders, just little things. $20 here, $20 there, make up for all the carcass premiums in the world. We bought all of our feed for 37 years. I'm not a believer in iron. I hate iron. Okay? Everybody has their own deal. Some of the most expensive hay you can put up is grass hay that you cut one time a year, if you really think about it. If you own the machinery and the labor and everything. Again, Cole's supposed to flag me at 8 to 10 minutes, so I know I got to keep cranking here. And tradition. That's the biggest problem in our whole industry is tradition. It's the biggest one. Most people don't like change. Most people don't like to change tradition, but you've got to if you're going to survive. Okay? Now this is a little commercial in it. Avoid. And again, this is just our opinion. Nobody else's, okay? Avoid single trait selection, especially on the maternal side of your cows. On the terminal side, you're dealing with a lot less things to look at. But single trait selection has got more people and more problems in the industry, more problems than anything. Remember the frame days, the little frames, the big frames? Okay, just stop and think about it. The Bull of the Month Club, avoid the new, bright, upcoming bulls. It's the greatest bull that ever walked. You pick up any bull stud catalog, and I don't care, Angus Journal, or Charolais Journal, or Red Angus Journal, or Randy the Hereford Journal, or Rusty the Hereford Journals. But my point is, if you pick up one from 3 years ago, there's a pretty good chance that very few of the bulls, the highlighted bulls 3 years ago, are still even in the catalogs or in the advertisements. So, kind of get some proof in some things you're doing. Try to get as much. And again, this is just my opinion. Using only EPDs in selection. I was the president of Beef Improvement Federation. I believe in EPDs, so don't anybody take this wrong. But using only EPDs in selection, it's easier, and this is a quote from Dave Daly in California, it is much easier today to go backwards faster than ever before with all the information we have out there. Think what I said, you can go backwards faster if you're not careful. And I hate to give any credit to Bill Bowman, but been a friend for a long time, but he said for years and years and years, EPDs are a tool, and he's right. You need to take everything in combination and use things that way. Fads, stay realistic. Don't get caught up in something that's not going to make you money down the road. If you're Seedstock suppliers, don't get caught up in the latest whatever and take your customers down the wrong road. Remember, you're working for them. Okay? You're working for the commercial guy. I do. Low accuracy, I think proof pays. I would venture to guess, and I enjoyed the lady this morning from that talked about the institute here. Remember, they had all the different grasses that they created and everything? And the one ryegrass at the top is the first one they created, and she said it's still their most popular. Why do we do anything different in genetics? There's a lot of pecans grown in this country. Do they use the newest pecan seed? Somebody going out planting 20 acres of trees, Robert? They do.
Well, we test them.
You test them, but your producers that go out,
No, they won't be dependable.
why are beef genetics any different? Why not demand as much proof as you can? If you want to go to the casino, you can roll the dice and play cards all day. So, okay? Some more thoughts. Remember, have a goal and then set a plan. Some people put that the other way around. I think you need to sit down, figure out what your goals are, and then set the plan in motion. Okay. I don't care, right here. This is the most important line I'm going to say here all day long. I don't care if it's the top 1% of the four-eyed cow that jumped from Missouri to Kansas and back to Oklahoma. If she has poor fertility, you've heard a lot talk about sperm. I'm not going to dwell on it. But it is a problem, I think. Realistically, all that fat that goes on has to be trimmed off. And then we ship beef in from 15 or 20 different countries. The 3/4 of us can't pronounce the name of the country that is lean junk to mix with all the fat that we produce. And we're so proud of producing fat that we have to ship in all this junk cattle to mix with it to make hamburger. And what's that fat cost us? I'm great with marketing. It's in prime, it's great. So don't misinterpret what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, when a person pays to get all that extra fat on there, that's not free either. That costs money. So I think we really need to be careful on focusing strictly on marbling without concerning what costs are totally involved in all that. The quality grade, and you can pick a customer for anything. I'm just going to throw out one of our customers, no different than Curtis Nipp's customers or anybody else's. But it can be done. These folks run Angus cows, moderate frame. They know something about the genetics. They use our Charolais bulls. They run 600-700 cows. They feed their own cow. They're killing these calves at 13, no more than 14 months. Calves are weighing 1375 to 1450. The yield grades are all 1, 2, or 3. Most of them are 2s as a percentage. They're hitting 97% choice. And there's a Swift premium grid. The grid is kind of like CAB, and they're 50% on that. Now they're dead at 13, 14 months. I'm just in the yield grades. I mean, put it all together. Is that really too far off where the industry needs to be? Okay. Choice select spread has been discussed, whatever. I'm not involved in that. There's a lot of cost. If you breed everything for choice and you sell in the wrong market time, Gretchen said that earlier. You got to know where your market's going to be, because there's times select has been worth more than choice. So you got to be really careful in your marketing time. If your program's going to be for breeding high choice cattle, you better be careful in the market. Or you'll be feeding for a couple extra months and you won't have any money left. Feedlots, packers like Charolais, longevity. I'm an Angus breeder, so I can talk freely. If you want a bullfight, have a bunch of Angus bulls out there. If you want bulls to go out there and get cows bred, Charolais bulls will do that really good. I replaced a lot more Angus bulls because of broken penises and broken legs from fighting than I ever dream about replacing Charolais. 3 pounds of muscle. Customers of today, tomorrow, I know what we all think they want. It's a different generation coming down the road. We've got to think about that. Okay? And don't rule out binary replacements. Seedstock producers, calving ease, birth weight control, that should be our #1 function. Okay, Rusty touched on that this morning, and you still get these comments, boy, my granddad never used a Charolais. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. We have to, disposition is horribly important. Feet, I've already touched on feet, so there's no sense going there anymore. Bone, people talk about bone on cattle. Everybody has a different definition of bone, but to me, big bone and big, huge footed, big joints, big round bone always feels a little more calving trouble. I went through the Simmental thing, and nothing against Simmentals, but at the time at Kansas State University, calving cows. Bone is the first thing that I always run into when I had to pull a calf. Fat bulls, I think there's way too many Seedstock guys. I'm glad. I think they get the bulls way too fat. I'm glad because it offers me more market opportunity. Okay, we don't fatten our bulls. Semen check time, we check everything 11, 13 months. I think even if you sell older bulls, which is fine, I have any problem selling older bulls. I think you need to still check your bulls about 12 months. Make sure that you're not passing on fertility problems. Now, as a terminal situation, really don't make much difference to you as long as that bull lasts, okay? If you're in a different breed or you're looking at females, I think this fertility thing is really something that, in bulls that semen check early, it's been highly proven their heifer mates will be more fertile, okay? Hair, extremely important. Extremely important. As commercial producers, hair is one thing. If you're in an area where they need to slick off, they need to slick off. EPD sort, this is what we do. I had Mr. Bowman help me out the other day. This is sort of bulls and Charolais breed. We can do it, we found out later on, but it's a list of bulls and Charolais breed from the highest yearling weight that have at least $20. That's not a lot of dollars, but at least it gives me, but it's very rare that we use bulls that don't have some kind of accuracy and some kind of proof. I think this is 50 or 100 bulls of the top bulls in the breed, just sort of for yearling weight if that's your bull. Everything data driven with, but keep cow sense with your decisions. You take off in one direction for TSI or yearling weight, and then your bulls are crippled or whatever, you really haven't gained anything. Seedstock industry, famous for screwing up genetics for commercial producers. Donors should not be open, unsound, or bad udder. You'd be surprised how many donor centers you go to that all these crippled up pieces of junk in there, and because the cow didn't breed well, let's make a donor out of her. Anyways, who loses on the extreme chases? Commercial guys. Okay, that's the loser. That's your customer. That's information Bill and Sally on their projects. The commercial guy is a loser if they take them down the wrong road. If Tom takes them down the wrong road to feedlot. If us as Seedstock producers take them down the wrong road, just trying to sell bulls. That's the guys that lose, and that's the guys that's out of business. You need to take it a lot more serious than what we do. Research, genetics, eliminate the problems, don't sell the problems. Customer services, real quick, and I'm done. We have a 3-year guarantee on feed and semen, 1 year on everything else. I'm going to replace part of a bull that got hit by lightning the other day. We do lots of phone calls, herd visits, email marketing for our customers whenever they sell calves. We try to connect females, calf buyers, calf sellers. We got cattle selling on Superior tomorrow, Dennis, and we've already sent out information to a list that we've compiled of potential buyers. We help Mr. Barrett Brody with his job quite a bit. Yeah, he does need it. So. But we've been at since 2010. Genetic credit, you get us credit back on some of our cattle, we get you some credit back on our sale. Free delivery, volume discount, salvage value. We've done that forever. There might be somebody else, but we've always given salvage value on our bulls. If there's a problem, we've retained the interest since 1994. That's just quick customer service. I'll just let you read it. They have many options. Okay. With that, I'm done. I will throw something else out just for the fun of it. Just for the fun of it. And we talk about sustainability and fat and cost and everything else. Why, as an industry, now Gretchen, you'll probably yell at me a little bit here, but why don't we feed young bulls? Mark Jorgensen did it 25, 30 years ago. Had some other problems, but it wasn't. Why don't we feed young bulls? Now, I know there's a million things you're going to say, why? But Tom, you and I didn't get to touch on something. Why don't we feed young bulls? And let's go for tenderness. Let's go, young bulls, just for, if you don't know, are 25% more feed efficient. They're 25% more lean retail cuts. Kill them before 12 months of age. You talk about rapid turnover and sustainability, but as an industry, we like to put on fat and different things. Let's get tenderness back in the issue. I know it's not accepted, it never will be. But we cut the testicles out, folks, and then we get blamed and yelled at for turning them back and putting implants in their ears.
Something that we can push with the heterosis. The other issue is, and I've been around Gene Trust and the Brangus deal, and I'm a believer in eared cattle. I sell a lot of eared cattle in San Antonio every year. 90% of what we sell are Brangus, Tiger Stripe, Beefmaster, Santa Gertrudis cross females. But what, you know, everybody chases down there is to get that added heat tolerance through that Brahman influence. And it's valuable and it works, and that heterosis and that heat tolerance is a big plus. But don't think you're not going to get some of it from these white-hided cattle. The heat tolerance is a big thing down there, and these Charolais cross females don't have to have quite as much ear. And when they don't have to have quite as much ear, those steers are worth more money, or they're not discounted as much as they were before. So I would just encourage everybody to think about just keeping everything in moderation. I'd like to keep them all. Like I said, I'd like to supply as many of them in the top 20% for weaning and yearling as I possibly can. But if I have to keep a little bit of the other in there, there's going to be some of those that I may have to back off just a little bit. But I think they're going to be the kind that are going to work for us. And stand behind the cattle and stand behind the bulls, and I think everything will work out.
Thanks, Michael. Good job. All right, we're getting down to the short rows right now, and we have questions for this panel. I think the message has been pretty clear. Do one of you guys have a burning comment you want to kick in there? One thing we failed to do today, and Clint, if you got just a second before this panel gets away, I know that Oklahoma State is using Charolais bulls, and Clint, we're really glad you took the time to be with us today on this program, and hope you found it valuable. You might just mention what you guys are doing at Oklahoma State, and then we're going to do some final questions.
Thank you, Rex. I didn't plan to be on the panel, but we did start using some Charolais bulls on our commercial cows at Oklahoma State University. Dr. Dave Lallman is our faculty member in charge of now what we call our North Range and South Range cow herds. We calve both in the spring and in the fall in those two different herds, and so some of those are calving right now at our North Range. We purchased bulls, Charolais bulls that trace back to Hoodoo genetics, back to a bull in particular called Hoodoo Slasher, that we felt like was a line of Charolais cattle that, in terms of frame size, were more, more in line with our commercial cows. We were trying to, what I think is important, I think Galen talked about not just trying to make your cows fit the environment, but trying to make the bulls that you use on those cows fit the environment. And so we started using some Charolais bulls in 2013. We went back to the same purebred source for additional bulls in 2014. We also started AIing. Galen, I know you're going to yell at me. We used a show bull, actually. A show bull that also goes back to Hoodoo Slasher. You can look him up. He was the champion Charolais bull at the North American in 2014. He was the supreme champion bull over all breeds at the Tulsa State Fair in 2014. He's also a moderate framed, well-made Charolais bull that had the EPDs that we were looking for with a negative birth and acceptable traits otherwise. So those are the cattle that we've used. In addition, a year ago we went to can I name ranches? We went to the Bradley 3 Ranch and bought 2 Charolais bulls to also add to that program. And so those bulls have been used on our spring calving commercial cows. So we're pleased with that. Just like several of you have talked about, I remember the day when my dad went to AI school in the 1960s at the International Beef Breeders in Colorado, and he brought home Charolais semen. I have no idea what it was. The calves that lived were really good. The biggest calves we had ever raised on commercial Hereford cows. They were stout, good looking, and just like a lot of you have talked about, we kept some of those heifer calves because we'd never seen calves like that before in the 1960s. They were tremendous. But fortunately today, and what we've learned through a lot of the speakers, we now have EPDs to help us select, to know something about the birth weights behind the cattle that we're using, behind the bulls that we're using. We know more about their mature size. I think all my dad had to pick from was a picture. I mean, literally a picture of a Charolais bull that he never saw in person, and he brought it home as a trial. So I guess we were doing research before I knew I was a researcher, but we learned a lot. Those are valuable lessons. Some of you have talked about those. As a young kid, you just don't forget seeing that calf laying there that you just helped your dad pull that looks like it would have been a grand champion somewhere. It was the biggest, stoutest calf you'd ever seen, and my dad reminded me it won't pay any bills. So hopefully we've learned our lessons, but we are enjoying what you asked me to talk about, what we've been able to do at Oklahoma State in our commercial herd utilizing Charolais genetics, and we have kept several of those females, and we have some of them that are calving currently. This is our second year to calve out Charolais cross females, and they do fit our environment. They do calve like our other cattle in terms of calving unassisted. We expect them to do that, and so we're very pleased with what we've accomplished.
Thank you. Thank you for updating us on that. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of education and tours and those kind of things to help a lot of people understand the value of heterosis and the use of Charolais genetics. And that's all we need. Question for any of the panel members here. Let me ask each of you, what's the biggest change you've seen in the last 10 years in the commercial industry as far as genetic selection? Tools or whatever you might do.
Well, I think within our organization, we see a lot more, a lot bigger percentage of our customer base that are looking at EPDs. We probably, you know, from the Charolais bulls we sell, our customer base are gradually moving them back over to EPDs. Some of the guys we sell to in Louisiana and Southeast are maybe more phenotypically from the standpoint of actual weaning or adjusted weaning weights and yearling weights, but we see a more dramatic changeover from that aspect. More people utilizing them. Our customer base, as far as the Brangus cattle we sell, a lot more people looking at retaining those heifers because of known genetics in them and so forth. And it's something, and you know, and I think Mr. Rusk mentioned it. I think artificial insemination, one of the most underutilized tools next to crossbreeding heterosis that we've got in this industry. I hadn't heard international beef breeders mentioned for eons and so forth, but a commercial operation in South Dakota was born and raised on bred 6,000–7,000 head of cows a year AI before there's ester synchronization. Didn't know what little ice was or cedars and so forth, so it can be done anywhere.
Thank you. Hand that to Galen. Galen, what do you see the biggest change in the commercial?
I have to go along with Vern. He's smart, so I'm just going to follow his lead. I think the EPDs, I mean, we just, in our deal, anyhow, both breeds, we see more people really looking at them seriously than what was 10 years ago. I think people are taking another look at crossbreeding. You know, we went through the Mongolized mess, and you know, we went through a lot of straight breeding and still a lot of straight breeding, but I think people start to look now more to maternal terminal approach. Folks that have larger commercial herds that can blend maternal genetics in there to keep the replacements, and then terminal genetics if the cow herd's big enough. because the whole thing still goes back to what Mike and everybody, Vern, everybody said, the cow's still your bottom line in fertility. And so I think crossbreeding's not frowned upon anymore, but it needs to be done right, or it's gonna be a monopolized mess. But it's certainly a tool I think more people are doing more all the time.
Mike, your turn.
EPD